I transformed my client Carlos from having lower back pain for 5 years every single day and couldn't even tie up his shoes to now lifting again completely pain-free in under 3.5 months. And his doctor told him that this was impossible. Now, before you think this is some miracle cure nonsense, let me be clear, this is not magic. This is just simple biomechanics. This is just science. And I have absolutely no idea why your physical therapist and your chiropractor didn't mention this information to you before. Now, my name is Alvin. I have master's degrees in biomechanics and in kinesiology. In the past 6 years, I've taught over more than 400 plus clients with this one particular problem, how to move without back pain. So they can back to the gym, get back to sport they used to play, and most importantly, just live like a normal human being while training right around 20 to 30 minutes per day. Now, in this video, I'll break down the real issues with your lower back, and this is so fundamental, so basic that once you fix it, everything else just works. Now, your body stops hurting because you give it no reason to hurt in the first place. Now, let's dive in. Doesn't really matter if you have degenerate disc, herniation, sciatica, bad posture, tight psoas muscle, weak core muscle, weak glute muscle. Doesn't really matter because none of them, they're the root cause of your lower back movement issues. They're just symptoms or how your body feels. Now, if you search online, you're going to find a zillion of different answers, right? I have an imbalance on my hip. I have weak core muscle, weak glute muscle. I have tight psoas muscle. I get my herniation if you ask your doctor after x-ray, right? You're going to find a zillion of different answers. But those are just superficial answers. They don't consider why you will be in this position in the first place. Why you have muscle imbalance, tight psoas muscle, weak core, herniation in the first place. You're young, you used to play a lot of sports. So why you had this in the first place? So of course, when you treat the symptoms, the result won't last long because there are a lot more layers to it. Now, the root cause is your wrong movement pattern. Hear me out. When you have the wrong movement pattern and you're still going to finish your daily functional activity like walking, sitting down, getting up, bending over, your body will find a way to adjust it either by directly jamming your joint right here, or you're going to change your spine curve, changing the position of your spine so you can quote unquote fake and compensate and still finish those daily functional activity. So oftentimes when you see people have a lower back problem, you can find almost all of them, they have some degrees of anterior pelvic tilt, posterior pelvic tilt, and postural imbalance. Now, this is not inherently bad if you don't have any pain, but if you do have pain, you need to pay a closer attention. Now, when your joints are out of alignment, of course, your muscle will be out of alignment too. So when you say you have really weak core muscle, or you really need to stretch out your psoas muscle, not necessarily because they're weak or you really need to stretch them out, but because they're just not in a quote unquote optimal position to work effectively. So of course you might feel weak, but they're actually not. So think about making a fist, right? You're going to feel a lot strong, but what if you're doing this way? You're going to feel a lot weaker. Now, that doesn't mean the muscle here is weak, but because it's not working in the right position to begin with. So of course you might feel weak, but actually not. And also, of course, if you're like most of my clients, they're in their 30s or 40s, they go to the gym for a decade, you probably don't have a weak core or weak glute like you've been told. You just don't know how to fire them up properly. Now, back to the point, when our muscles are out of alignment and those muscles keep working under the wrong position over and over again, of course, you might feel stiff. Of course, you might feel pain. Now, I know a lot of people may say, sure, I'll just stretch it. I'll just stretch my muscle and just keep decompressing my spine and hopefully I'll be fine. Now, if you want to waste your time, go ahead. Sometimes we just have to learn the hard way. But the thing is, that's backward thinking. Now, as a professional, I don't want you to decompress or stretch out anything. I want you to move correctly, use the muscle effectively, produce force to the ground effectively so your body won't even feel weak, won't even feel stiff, won't even feel pain in the first place. That way, not only you can fix your lower back movement problem, but also you can get back to activity you used to love. That's the whole point, right? Now, just in summary, wrong movement pattern can lead to wrong joint position, which can lead to muscle to work ineffectively over time, which leads to muscle stiffness, pain, and that will eventually compress your nerve underneath your muscle as well. So whatever you're doing right now, I want you to stop and I want you to think about and ask yourself, what are you working on? So for example, if you're just relying on stretching, you target your muscle, right? What about the joint? What about your posture? What about the movement pattern? What about the ability to shift your body from side to side? Now, same thing applied to strengthening your core and strengthening your glute muscle. Think about it, what you're working on and what's lacking. And if you just rely on chiropractor and decompress your spine, what about your movement pattern? Do you know how to move correctly now to maintain this long-term relief? Do you know what kind of muscle you need to fire it up to finish your movement? Or do you just get passively decompressed and hope your body can adjust on its own? Another example, maybe you're working your hip mobility. That's great. You're working on your joint now. That's a good start. But guess what? Now exercises are created equal. Some of the exercises are created for eyeball, but some exercises are created for your biomechanical and neurological advantage that target human asymmetry, which I will cover that in the next video. I just got this feedback from my client. No, this is even faster than expected. This is just after the first session. He can feel this way all because we target his root cause, which is his wrong movement pattern. Now, when he is moving better, his body feels better automatically along the way because he gives his body no reason to hurt in the first place. Now that you know we need to focus on your movement instead of just the pain itself, let's break down even more on how to restore your movement with the next two essential concepts: full body movement and asymmetrical training.